Dear students, a very warm welcome to today's session. To dear students, we have been running this program of IELTS for the last 3 sessions. This session is Interactive English Language Training for Students, IELTS. And in this program, we deliver lectures based on the 4 skills of the language, that is listening, speaking, reading and writing. Today's session is for the listening skill. But before we move on towards the listening test, I have a question to ask. एक question है मेरा ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ, answer ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ teacher ਨੂੰ ਦੋਗੇ who is sitting with you. This is the 4th lecture for listening skill. In class +1 also, we had some lectures based on listening skill. I just want to know how much you have progressed in the listening skill. This is a time of introspection. Listening skills ਦੇ lectures ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਹੀ nuances, ਬਾਰੀਕੀਆਂ, tips share ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ हैं, followed by listening test. ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਰਿਕਾਰਡ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਹੈ? ਅਗਰ ਨਹੀਂ, then from this session onwards, you will maintain a copy, IELTS copy. In that copy, you will record your progress in your test, listening test, and you will also note down all the important facts, all the information shared in all the LSRW lectures. This is an announcement for you. I hope you have understood what I want to say. एक copy ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੂਰਾ record maintain ਕਰੋਗੇ. Then only we will be able to see how much you have progressed in your LSRW. So now we will move on towards what we are supposed to do today, that is listening test. So here is again a discussion of your structure of question paper. Written paper carries 80 marks and internal assessment carries 20 marks. In internal assessment, you have 15 marks for listening and speaking skills, pre-boards 3 marks, book bank 2 marks. And the program that I already mentioned is Interactive English Language Training for Students. So students, what is language? Language is a means of communication, and it is taught and assessed in terms of the 4 skills. And these skills are listening, speaking, reading and writing. Out of these 4 skills, 2 are receptive skills and 2 are productive skills. In receptive skills, you get the input from the outside. ਤੁਸੀਂ receive ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ, receive ਤੋਂ word ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ receptive. You receive the inputs, but in speaking and writing, you have to produce something. It is your own creativity, your own efforts. So listening skill, reading skill, speaking skill and writing skill. Why we have put reading after listening is because we have paired them into receptive and productive skill. Otherwise, the correct sequence is LSRW. But here we have paired them as receptive and productive skills. So, beta ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ listening skill always enjoy the first position, because this is the first skill that a child receives when a child is born. ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਉਹ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਸੁਣਦਾ ਹੈ, ਸੁਣਨ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਬੱਚਾ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ. So listening leads to speaking. Then slowly and gradually child goes to school, starts reading. So now the child is receiving 2 inputs, listening as well as reading. And then the child is able to write. Then comes writing skill. All these skills are interconnected also. We will discuss in detail. So let us move on to today's session, that is IELTS listening. So listening skill. What is the importance of listening skill? ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਹੁਣੇ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਲਿਸਨਿੰਗ ਸਕਿੱਲ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਹੀ ਕਿਉਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ this is the first skill that we receive when we are born. And God has also given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. That shows nature has also shown us that listening is more important than speaking. Listen, read and speak. So speaking, if you want to speak good English, you must listen to good English and you must read good English. We can speak well only if we listen well. So listening is a receptive skill, and for speaking skill you must understand the meaning of what are the sounds of English, what is the rhythm, what is the intonation and stress of the language. These terms will be discussed in your speaking skill lectures, and you must understand well and you must practice well whatever is taught about it. Here I will only say that if you listen to all these terms, all these nuances, you will be able to speak well. The more a student listen to the target language, here the target language is English, the more is he or she able to understand the nuances. So listening to English enables the learners to speak in English. Now, sometimes there is a confusion between these two terms, hearing and listening. So let us differentiate. Hearing is a mechanical process involving the ears. If the ears are open, ears are working well, they will automatically receive the sound. जो भी sounds आसपास है, ears will listen to those sounds. It's a mechanical process. But in listening, it is focused. When the teacher says, listen to me, immediately you are attentive. You are attentive, you are focused. So effort to understand the meaning of what we hear is listening. Hearing is involuntary, it's not in your control. Unless and until you close your ears, the sounds will keep entering, your ears will keep receiving the sounds. Voluntary means you are consciously doing it. You have to make an effort to do it. ਤੁਸੀਂ अपनी effort ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੁਣਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, that is voluntary. In hearing, you may be mentally somewhere else. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਕੁਝ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਬੈਠੇ ਤਾਂ ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਕਲਾਸ 'ਚ ਪਰ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਕਿਤੇ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ, ਹੀਅਰਿੰਗ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ but they are not attentive. But if you want to get good marks in the listening test, ਜੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੁਣੇ listening test ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, if you want good marks, then I would advise you to be completely attentive in the class. Now here are some tips for listening test. In every test, these tips are repeated because they are very, very important. While listening to an audio during the test, you must listen for any names, places, dates, mobile numbers, address, etc. and make notes on the question paper. So when you are doing a practice test, you don't have question papers. Question paper is on the screen. Then you can write these on your any rough copy, any page that you are having. While listening, write answers on the question paper. So it's a multitask. Multitask means when you are doing more than one task at the same time. Here, what are the tasks you are doing? You will listen to an audio, listening skill. You will read the question paper, reading skill, and you will write the answers. All these 3 tasks will go simultaneously. Pay attention to the instructions and underline the key words, the important words. For example, no more than 3 words and or a number. That means a word limit has been given and your answer must be according to the word limit. अगर तुसी word limit cross कर दे हो, then your marks will be deducted or your answer will be wrong. Listen to the instructions. So in point number 3, the instructions are related to the written instructions in the question paper. In point 4, these are the instructions which you will listen to in the audio. Audio ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁਝ instructions ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਧਿਆਨ ਨਾਲ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ. In that half minute, go through the questions quickly and underline the cue word so that you know what to listen for. Beta har audio che bolya janda hai. Before we begin the test, you read question number this to this. 1 to 5 or 6 to 10, and you waste their time in talking to each other. You should read the question. Why? Because it will help you in being prepared for what to listen for. Read the instructions carefully. If it is written choose the correct letter ABC, then you are to write the letter and not the answer. Supposing there are 3 options, A option, B option and C option, and it's written choose the correct letter, that means तुसी answer नहीं लिखना, you will write only the letter of the correct answer. If you miss an answer, don't lose the pace of the speaker by thinking about it. उत्थे रुक नहीं जाना, सोचन नहीं लग जाना, because audio will not stop, audio will keep moving. So what will happen? You will miss the next answers. So come back to it later on. When the test is over, you will get some time. In the audio it will say you have some time to check your answers. So during that time, from the context you can guess the answer and write it. So don't leave any blank spaces. Guess and write. There is no negative marking. So now are you ready for the listening test? Are you having a pen or a pencil and a paper, a copy in your hands? If not, then you are not ready for the test. So I give you a few seconds to write 1 to 10. अपनी copy दे विच write listening test 1. We'll be doing 2 tests. Listening test 1, write down numbers 1 to 10. I'll play an audio. I will show you the question paper. You will listen to the audio and write the answers in your copy. So I hope you have written. So should we move on? All the best to all of you. Here is your first listening test. Listening test, class 10+2, lesson in celebration of being alive. You will listen to an audio and answer the questions as you listen. Before you listen to the audio, please read questions 1 to 5. Now listen to the audio and answer the questions.
Section 1. One morning, several years ago, I witnessed what I call the Grand Prix of Cape Town's Red Cross Children's Hospital. It opened my eyes to the fact that I was missing something in all my thinking about suffering, something basic that was full of solace for me. What happened there that morning was that a nurse had left a breakfast trolley unattended, and very soon this trolley was commandeered by an intrepid crew of 2, a driver and a mechanic. The mechanic provided motor power by galloping along behind the trolley with his head down, while the driver, seated on the lower deck, held on with one hand and steered by scraping his foot on the floor. The choice of roles was easy because the mechanic was totally blind and the driver had only one arm. They put on quite a show that day. Judging by the laughter and the shouts of encouragement from the rest of the patients, it was much better entertainment than anything anyone puts on at the Indianapolis 500 car race. There was a grand finale of scattered plates and silverware before the nurse and ward sister caught up with them, scolded them and put them back to bed.
This is the end of section 1. Please check your answers. In section 2, there are statements 6 to 10. You have to write T for true and F for false. Before you listen to the audio, please read the statements. Now listen to a conversation between a receptionist and a patient. Good morning, Dr. Gupta's clinic.
Good morning, ma'am. I'd like to take an appointment with Dr. Gupta, please.
Would you like to consult Dr. Anurag Gupta or Dr. Pankaj Gupta?
I would like to meet the orthopedician, please.
Dr. Anurag Gupta is the orthopedician. Kindly hold on. I'll just check. Will tomorrow morning suit you?
No, I have a lot of pain in my leg and I really must see him today.
If you want to see the doctor today, then it must be late in the evening as he is on a visit to another city today. Should I make an appointment with Dr. Pankaj if the pain is unbearable?
Oh, that is not a problem. I'll take a painkiller, but I must meet Dr. Anurag Gupta, please.
Just a moment, please. I think you can come at 6:30 this evening. Will that be all right?
Yes, that will be fine.
May I know your name, please?
Sumit Sharma.
Can you spell it, please?
SUMITSHARMA.
Please be here at 6:20 then, Mr. Sumit.
I will surely be there before that. Thank you very much.
This is the end of the listening test. Please check your answers. So students, let's check the answers now. I hope you were able to answer all the questions. So here are the answers. The first one is Grand Prix. Now this one was a bit difficult. If you have studied the chapter well, then you will know this pronunciation. Otherwise, those who are not aware of this pronunciation might have missed the answer. The second one was breakfast trolley. Third, motor power. Fourth, totally blind. 5, grand finale. In section 2, the instruction was write T for true and F for false. So we are supposed to write T and F only. So 6th was F, false. 7th was T for true. 8th was T for true. 9th was F for false. And 10th was F for false. Here I want to point out one thing. Sometimes students do not listen attentively and they write T. Number 9, most of the students they write T. Why? When it says 6:30, student jump to the conclusion. 6:30 सुनते ही student फटाफट T लिख देते हैं. True. They miss the next AM. In the audio it was said 6:30 in the evening. In the evening means PM. So self analysis ਦਾ time है. Check करो कितने students ने 6:30 AM ਨੂੰ true लिखा है या false. So it was false. Why? 6:30 ਤਾਂ ਠੀਕ ਸੀ but AM ਦੀ mistake ਸੀ. So ਇੱਥੇ ਦੋ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ point out ਮੈਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ students. ਇੱਕ the right pronunciation ਅਗਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, right vocabulary ਦਾ grasp नहीं है, then you miss the answer. Or sometimes you are very quick to answer. ਧਿਆਨ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੁਣਦੇ and immediately you mark the answer. So beta, it's a game of patience. ਬੜੇ ਆਰਾਮ ਨਾਲ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ. So with that, we move on to the next listening test, that is listening test 2. So here again you will listen to an audio and answer the question. I give you a few seconds to write 1 to 10 once again. Quickly write down 1 to 10. So again you will listen to the audio and you will keep the points in mind that I told you just now. Don't jump to the conclusions immediately. Very carefully you have to write down the answers. So here is the audio. Listening test 2. Listening test. Class 10 plus 2. Poem The Road Not Taken. You will listen to an audio and fill in the gaps as you listen. Now, listen to the audio.
Robert Frost, a renowned American poet, lived from 1874 to 1963. Though he was born in San Francisco, he moved back to his family's home in New England after his father died when he was a young boy. Both his mother and grandfather were teachers, who made sure Robert read a wide variety of materials. As a young man, Frost attended Dartmouth College and Harvard, but he did not graduate from either. Instead, he worked as a farmer, an editor, and a school teacher. He wrote in his spare time. His first poem was published in 1894. In 1911, he decided to move to England. His first book of poetry was published in England in 1913 and it was well received. He won the Pulitzer Prize for poetry 4 times. Throughout his life, he received 44 honorary degrees and numerous awards. He became one of America's rare public literary figures, almost an institution. Robert Frost's work is still extremely popular today. His poems deal with simple events and rural settings. Often the topics and dialect are unique to the New England region. While the topics of his poems may be simple, like a road in the case of The Road Not Taken, they contain insight into human nature and life.
This is the end of the audio. Please check your answers. Check your answers, beta. So, let's check the answers. The first was 1874 and second was 1963. Then third, San Francisco. Fourth, grandfather. Fifth, farmer. Sixth, teacher. Seventh, 1894. Eighth, England. Ninth, honorary degrees. 10th, rural. Check your spellings also and give yourself marks. So students, we have done 2 listening tests just now. And I told you to write down all your marks in the first test and the second test also. As announced in the beginning, you are supposed to keep a record of your marks in your copies and get it signed by your teachers after every session. Because students, if we do not write down in your copies, you will not be able to see your own progress. If in every test you are not scoring well, that means we have to address the problem. There is a problem. Why we are not getting good marks? Here I am going to discuss some of the problems why the students do not get good marks. But those who have scored well, congratulations to them, and the teachers must give them a big star on my behalf, please. So, here are some of the reasons why we are not scoring well in our listening tests. After so much of practice, after so much of sessions from EDUSAT, after so much practice given by your teachers, why still we are not doing well? Here are the reasons. Lack of exposure to listening in English. So, after every session, I advise you to listen to English in 24 hours every day. Introspect, self analysis karo, kinne minutes English sunan te lagande ho, and write it in your copy. If you improve that time, then only your listening skill will improve. If you are not listening to any audio, any video in English, then you cannot progress because your ears are not used to listening to English. So, in addition to your English period, you have to devote some time to this. Then lack of good vocabulary. As I said in the beginning, reading is also very important for speaking as well as listening skill. Supposing in today's test, there was a word Grand Prix. Now, this is a part of vocabulary of your textbook. Agar tusi word dhyan naal sunya hoega, you must have written the right answer. But kai students ne word pehli bari sunya hoega. So, this is the lack of vocabulary. And you are in grand finale. If you have never heard this word grand finale, you will not be able to write. If you don't know the spellings of finale, you will not be able to write. So, this is the role of vocabulary. The lack of interest. This you have to find out yourself whether you want to do it or not. So, write all these points in your copy. What is your reason for not doing well in listening test? Interruptions and noise during the session. That also you people have to monitor at your end. There should be a pin drop silence during these tests. There should be the voice only of audio. There should not be any distractions in the class. This you have to maintain, the silence you have to maintain, interruptions you have to avoid. Anxiety. Sorry, I missed one. Lack of complete attention, wandering minds. Again, it's in your control. If you are looking at the screen, but your mind is somewhere else, देखता screen nu rahe ho, chup bhi बैठे हो, पर mind किते हो रहा है, you will not be able to understand anything. So, analysis करो, इन्हां चो किहड़े points तुहाडे उपर fit बैठदे हैं और किवें तुसीं उन्हां नूं दूर करना है. Anxiety. Some students have a habit of getting stress while examinations. So, if there is anxiety, so deep breathe. Before every test, do a little bit of deep breathing. That will get rid of the anxiety. Lack of practice. You have your workbooks. We have provided you all the audios. The teachers must be giving you practice in the classes and you can do it at home also. So, lack of practice is another reason. And a negative attitude. A negative attitude will not let you do anything in life. It is not only related to listening skill, it is related to any kind of learning. If the attitude is negative, you cannot. This is the first step towards learning anything, a positive set of mind. So, here are the solutions also, how to improve. So, during the test, these 3 points are very, very important. Stop talking and be silent. This is the first step. There should be a copy in your hand and take notes of whatever tips we are telling you. Avoid or eliminate the distraction. Here, distractions are not only the outward, the internal distraction also, like thinking about something else. So, these 3 points are very, very important during the listening test. And how to get rid of the negative attitude. Believe in yourself. Say again and again, yes, I can do it. I can score well. And train your ears by listening to news in English, listening to audios in English. I keep saying this again and again because this is very, very important. When you listen to English news, you may not understand everything, but your ears will be listening to the sounds, and you will be watching how articulation of the lips is there, how the words are pronounced. That will help you in speaking in English as well as in your listening test. And as I said, reading is very important to improve your vocabulary. You must read newspapers in English. You must read storybooks in English. That will help in improving the vocabulary. Get some books issued from the library and read at least one book during your session. Practice, listen to a word or a sentence, repeat it, say it aloud to practice. So beta, it's hard work. You cannot achieve anything without putting in hard work. So listen to your teachers, listen to the newsreader for intonation and stress. I mentioned earlier also, for speaking in English, you must understand these terms. Intonation, it's the voice rises or fall in the pitch while speaking in English, because intonation often communicates the emotion or attitude of the speaker. These are explained well during your speaking skill lectures. Listen to yourself. This is an interesting activity. Have a conversation with yourself in front of the mirror or in your head. Speak something and then record it and listen to it. Use your own voice to practice your English listening skills. You can identify your mistakes and try to overcome these. It's an amazing and a very interesting way, and you will like it because the voice is yours only. So students, I would like to repeat the same thing again. Unless and until you practice listening to English, you can neither do well in your listening tests or speak good English. So if you have not started doing it, start doing it from now. Make a beginning. Do some effort. Listen to English news. Listen to audios in English. Watch English movies with subtitles. That will help in improving your vocabulary, your speaking skill, your listening skill, all at the same time. But choose the movies with the help of your teachers. They can show you some good movies on the projector also. This will help in improving your listening skill, your speaking skill, and your reading skill. So students, let's decide what we want to do, whether we really want to score well or not. And this is not only for scoring in examination, it is for your progress in life also. So once again, students, keep listening to English, keep studying English, keep improving your all the 4 skills in the English. So that's all for today. Have a good day.